so you wake up a little bit. It's really afternoon. You're gonna stay awake though. We just got home. It's been a really long everything. He keeps falling asleep on the boob. Chicky. But he's been pretty tired. Yeah, last night obviously I was alone. Luke couldn't come to visit. Yeah, it was really, really hard. Quite a few people have said that babies sleep really well the first night because they've just used up so much energy coming out and like adjusting to everything and all that stuff. Ouch. But he didn't at all. I literally pulled another all-nighter all night last night, which is crazy because Luke figured out that I've slept 4 hours or 5 hours in 4 days. Since I woke up Sunday morning, I think we woke up like 7:38 maybe. I can't remember back that far. I had 2 hours of sleep Sunday night before my waters broke, and then since then I've had like 5-minute snippets here and there. I did have almost an hour last night because he was being really grisly and the midwives finally was like, look, he can just sit in our office and hopefully the noise of us talking, the noises, our chatter and stuff will rock him to sleep a bit more than just the silence of your room, and you need to sleep because I was falling asleep like mid-conversation, like mid-sentence, talking to people. But he basically was really grisly and I couldn't figure out why. Like, we've had trouble latching and breastfeeding. At first it was with the latching, like he just didn't really know what he was doing. He couldn't figure out to open his mouth, and if he did figure out to open his mouth, he couldn't figure out to actually keep it on the boob. It just like was open. But yeah, and then he finally started opening his mouth and get on the boob and not suckle. He'd just sit there and like fall asleep. Come on. Like what you're doing now. Ouch. So yeah, we had to use a bit of my expressed milk that I expressed expressed while pregnant, just to make sure he had something in him. They threatened to top him up with formula and I was like, nope, I'm fine. But he's getting better at latching. As you can see, he latched pretty quickly just then. But yeah, there was like one point where he latched with some help when he first came out, and then he latched again the second time with a lot of help, but it took a long time. And then the third and fourth time he didn't latch. I ended up having to use my breast expressed milk in a syringe to feed him. So he had 2 mils the first time, and then he had 4 mils the second time. After the second time, he was like still making faces as if he was hungry. So I tried putting him back on the boob, and he was like nuzzling it around and actually acting interested, which he hadn't really done yet. Oh, my stomach is cramping. Also, you get contractions after labor, especially when he breastfeeds, which I knew about, but like, ow. I like try breastfeeding him, and then when that doesn't work, I then give him some syringed formula, and then I occasionally try and put him back on the breast again. And yeah, he started nuzzling, which was good. And then the time after that, I like picked him up and I literally just went yonk and just went straight to the boob, mouth full, and was just feeding like that. And I was like, alrighty then, we figured it out. We have not figured it out. After that, he forgot again. But can you not kick my stomach? You're not in there anymore. We're figuring it out slowly, aren't we? I'm exhausted, and they say to sleep when baby sleeps, but he hasn't slept until like Luke got here at about 8:30, 8:39, I don't know. He honestly did not sleep last night. I think it's because he had mucus in, like he was still coughing up a bit of mucus from, being floating in water for so long. It's just like he would sleep and then he'd like go to breathe and get a bit of a gargle in his throat, and then he'd get frustrated, and then he'd like cry for a bit and then stop, and then cry for a bit and then stop. But like, I changed his diaper. His diapers were clean. He'd fed heaps. I rocked him. I ended up trying a dummy. The midwife asked if I had one, and I didn't, but Sky dropped him like a bundle of stuff for him, and there was a dummy in there. So the midwife said to stand up for myself and ignore the older midwives. If needed, just give him a dummy. As long as he's been fed recently, there's not going to be much harm. So we tried a dummy, but he didn't like it. He couldn't figure it out. It didn't work. But yeah, so he didn't really sleep until I finally, at one point, he's done lots of poops and a couple of pees. But at one point he sounded like he was having a bit of a vomit, and I like picked him up and went to burp him, and my gosh, he vomited so much. Like, I didn't even think there could be that much liquid in a baby's stomach when he hasn't really drunk that much. Yeah, he threw up all over me, which is fine. It was freezing though. The aircon in the hospital was so cold. But yeah, he threw up, and I think that helped a lot. It like cleared him out a bit. After that, he was like mostly fine, and he's actually slept like a huge chunk. 3-4 hours had passed, and 3 hours had passed, and he hadn't woken. I actually managed to sleep for a solid hour. Mostly, like, midwives were coming in and people were coming in to talk about stuff, but they let Luke deal with most of it and just let me sleep, which was really nice. Breastfeeding hurts a lot more than I anticipated. I don't know if it's because we haven't mastered the latching process yet. I'm sorry, my butt is so numb. One of the midwives said that, like, when we were, she was trying to help me latch him on and stuff, you literally, it can like touch my boob and colostrum comes out. So I've got a good supply of colostrum, a really good supply. And she said he probably will only need to feed for like 5 minutes to be full because your supply is so good. If he stays awake for those 5 minutes, rat bag. But he had like a 40 minutes on the boob. Then he like food combed out, and during that time he got like checked over by the pediatrician. He had his baby photos done. We got some photos. A photographer in the hospital took some photos for us. And then he also went and got, they were a bit worried because his heart rate keeps being low in like hitting the 70s. But he seemed like perfectly fine otherwise. So they went for his ECG. He's got stickers all over him that we have to get off when he has his first bath, which is not going to be pleasant. I know how annoying those stickers are. That came back fine. Yeah, he slept through the majority of those procedures. Obviously, we don't know about the ECG, but the rest he was quite content, and he went back to sleep and slept the entire car ride, like walking down to the car, everything. But yeah, so we're home now. It sucks heaps because we got home at like 1:20 and Luke had to leave for work straight away. As for how I feel, I'm exhausted. I had a long labour. I felt like a wuss through the labour, but after the fact, apparently they were surprised by how long I went without asking for pain relief, because most people apparently end up using at least the gas and air for a while. The gas and air wasn't working for me, so I tried to push through without it for ages before I folded and got, because I didn't want pethidine, and they said the next step is pethidine, and I didn't want it, so I went for ages without pain relief, but it was getting really, really bad and I wasn't coping. I might have been able to cope if it was shorter, but the fact that like my labour went for 27 hours, I think, it was like, I was just exhausted, and it was such strong pains and they were so random. The thing that made it unbearable for me was the fact that the back pain didn't go away between contractions. Like, it got worse between contractions, but it never went away. So I like never got a break. But my contractions were like coming in waves. They'd come in sets of 3, and like one set would be super intense, and then the next set would be like mild, and I could almost like nap between them. And then the next set would be super intense again, and it was like never regular, which sucks because everyone's like, once you get your pattern, once your contractions are regular in intensity, duration, and and like time between them, that's when you're in established labour. And I'm like, mine never were, so I was never in established labour. I love you. It's a sin to tell. So be sure. Oh gosh, how are we doing? It's true. And you say I love you. Now my battery's gonna die, of course. I got very distracted. I don't know what I've said. But we're home now. You don't even want to suckle. You're just being silly. Oh, there we go. Did you need burping? Is that what you needed? Did you need to burp? Burping is what I'm not good at. I've determined. I thought I could burp a baby, but all the babies I've burped, they just burped. He don't burp. You just don't seem quite ready to go to bed, and you did sleep for a long time. Hey? Yeah, hi. Hi. I would take my glasses off, but I think you might need to get used to me wearing them. Are you all snuggled, are you? Yeah, hi. Hi. You sound like you're still hungry. But we both know that you had a lot to eat and you're just being fiddly. Yeah. The midwife said it's because you're so big that you just want to suckle all the time. Yeah, all the time. Which means you'll be fine for a little bit. You just gotta get over yourself. Oh. Out goes a little green frog one day. Out goes a little green frog. Hi. What are you doing? He's a little yellow.
This is your debut.
We're going to go for a walk today. I'm determined. We'll see how that goes. Okay.
Do you want to open it?
That is like this piece. What's the matter? Hey, how's it going? Okay,
Great job, babe.
I guess I'll put you back in clothes first. But you gotta stop kicking. You keep getting your feet in the wrong one. I'm sorry, but I put it under the wrong side of you.
When he's done like happy, can we take a photo?
It's a bit big. Maybe you'll fit in a 5-0. Ow, stop kicking my belly. I thought you were past this stage. Baby, can you go get him a 5-0 shirt?
We don't have 5-0 shirt.
Oh, we don't have 5-0 shirts. Don't we?
Oh, this would work with pants, maybe? Oh, no.
It's okay. How did they... I don't know how to like... I don't know.
He's just stuck on his belly.
What?
He looks like a big person now.
Even the pants are too big. Is that confusing? Is it? Hi!
Make him smile first.
What's the matter, you? Hey, this is how Mum kills her back. Hey!
the legend like that, isn't it?
Yep. Yep. Oh dear. It's very sleepy. Very dry skin. There's another one. I don't know if I want my head this close to your bottom. What do you reckon? What do you reckon? Are you awake yet? We're going to start screaming because we've got a dirty nappy. That's how these things work. Hey, Sappy. Oh, you're still going. What is it, Sappy? I don't know if you guys can see Sappy. Just... Okay, well, let's put the thing up the right way. Are you done? Let me get my hands in there then. I hope you guys heard that. Untuck these corner bits. So, you hold that up there so that you can still have everything. Okay. I think we should go get you something warm before you chuck it at Tanny. Okay? Come on. Okay, come on, let's go. I'll go get up.